Right, so what's happening? You want an update?
Yes, please.
So Spain, cases and deaths have been increasing, over the last 1 to 2 months. All right. The number of new cases in Spain has been going up quite worryingly. It's more than double the EU average. Okay. Spain is seeing, or was seeing about 10 days ago, about 240 cases per million people per day. Okay. In total, it was about 11,000 cases in Spain per day. Okay. It's gone down to about 220 cases per million people per day. All right. So it's sort of stabilized in the last 7 to 10 days, but still at a very high level.
Yeah.
That level is more than double the average for the European Union, okay, and more than double the UK also, and it's about double the USA. So the rate of new cases in Spain is really quite high. There's no doubt Spain is the epicenter in Europe at the moment. Deaths in Spain has been running at about 2.6 deaths per million people per day. What does that mean in total for Spain? About 120 deaths per day. You compare that with the peak of the pandemic when it was over 900. So obviously it's much better than 900, but it's still 120 people a day on average dying from coronavirus. Within Spain, Madrid is the biggest problem. Madrid has 14% of Spain's population, but it's got 35% of the new cases. All right. So Madrid's cases per million per day is about 586. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's more than double the figure for Spain as a whole, and the figure for Spain as a whole is more than double the average for the European Union. Okay. So Madrid is a big problem at the moment. Siri, go away. But also in Madrid, things seem to have stabilized a little bit in the last week or so. So the R number from the latest figures I've seen seems to be just above 1 in Madrid, about 1.03 to 1.05. Same in Barcelona, but the cases in Barcelona are much lower, only about 122 cases per million people per day. Okay.
What's our number? I don't remember.
Our number is if one person has it, how many people do they transmit it to? Okay. So if R is less than 1, it means the number of cases in the community will be reducing.
Yeah.
Madrid, there's been a lot of politics going on. That the national government has been arguing with the regional government in Madrid about whether restrictions should be imposed. It's a bit silly, really. It seems pretty obvious that greater restrictions are needed. Anyway, the national government has stepped in, has put in place restrictions on many municipal areas in the Madrid region. So basically, if you're in one of those regions, you requested not to have any unnecessary journeys. You're not allowed to leave your municipality for any reasons other than work, education, medical treatments, or some other emergencies. And you can't go into those areas either.
Still, the school's open.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not a full lockdown, but we're not allowed to travel into or out of Madrid at the moment, unless we had a good reason to do so. Spain's deaths in total, 32,000 officially from coronavirus, but excess deaths, which is probably a more accurate figure, is 54,000.
Okay.
So pretty concerning, but the figures for the death rate in Spain is a concern. If you compare 2.6 deaths per million people per day in Spain at the moment, compare that with the USA, which is about 2. Okay, EU and UK both less than 1. Japan less than 0.1. Okay, so Japan is doing way better than Europe and Spain is doing a lot worse. Schools here are still open. The international school our kids are going to seems to be handling things pretty well. Everybody's into the routine, following the protocols and procedures. They stay within their class bubble for the whole day. You know, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. Pretty good, I would say. There is a website which allows us to check if there have been cases reported at schools in Barcelona. So we've been looking at that a little bit. I mean, I've been checking sort of half a dozen schools that we know. One of them had a couple of cases. That's all that I'm aware of. You know, it's a month since they went back to school, and that month has gone reasonably well. So I'm glad we sent them back to school. You know, it's good for their education, much better than being at home. And so far, so good, although you know, they have to wear masks all day, so it's a bit difficult as well, but they understand the reasons why. There's a lot of talk going on about why Spain is being so badly affected. Spain is often compared with Italy, for example, but Italy's now doing much better than Spain. There don't seem to be any clear answers. However, from what I've been reading, Italy seems to be taking a stricter approach when there are new outbreaks. They're quarantining buildings, workplaces, locations. So they're probably reacting stronger when outbreaks are happening. In Spain, I don't think we're really seeing that at all. I mean, in Madrid, there's been a huge political argument about what clearly is a major crisis which has been developing there. You know, I also see on social media, I mean, I saw an Instagram story from somebody I follow. This was posted in the last few days, and it was like a party with, you know, 50 or 60 people in a confined space.
Oh, really?
You know, whether it was a restaurant or a bar or somebody's house, it's not really clear, but it's not good behaviour. It's not appropriate, you know. And that seems to be one of the key differences between Spain and Italy, because Spain has had a lot of night-time venues, you know, bars, restaurants, whatever, which have been operating one way or another. A lot of the transmission seems to be happening in places like bars and restaurants. I mean, if you walk around the streets in Spain, I mean, here around Barcelona, and when we have travelled, if you walk along the street, you know, 98% of all the people are wearing face masks. Yeah. But then when you go into a bar or a restaurant, some of which are quite busy, everybody's taking them off.
Yeah, of course.
Because you need to eat, right?
Yeah.
So, but it seems a lot of transmission is happening in that sort of environment, and especially with younger people who are socialising more than middle-aged and elder people. And the virus is transmitting that way and getting transmitted back to more vulnerable members of society, you know, when they meet with families or whatever. You know, so it's relevant to us as well. We need to be careful. I mean, you know, we're not perfect. I think we're being reasonably careful, but that's how it's happening.
I'm surprised that Italy, they don't have like gathering. That I think Italy is more than here. You know, the family get together and the younger generation go out. You know.
But parties? I mean, nightlife?
Yeah, what are you thinking?
More than Spain?
More.
I doubt it.
More, Daddy.
Seriously? I mean, I'm not a party guy anyway, so I don't really care, but my observations are that younger people party harder in Spain. I don't know, am I right or wrong? I don't know. But I think Spain has dropped the ball a little bit. I think you know, I think Spain did an excellent job with the lockdown first time around. I mean, there was a lot of economic impact, obviously, but in terms of dealing with the problem, it was really well done. But then Spain relaxed too quickly, and I think since then the restrictions have just not been really obvious or in place.
I think it was too strict and people get really stressed.
Yeah, I think so. And
Like yesterday too, in a shopping mall, the place was packed, but there's a restriction to get into the shop. So people are lined up in almost every shop.
yeah. In contrast, the UK, I mean, the UK is also seeing an increase, but you know the numbers are as I said, you know, less than half what we're seeing in. I mean, well below half what we're seeing in Spain.
I wonder why.
So
Because I think.
well, I mean, what's the biggest difference between UK and Spain apart from the weather and well, many other cultural
People don't get
differences?
together in England?
Not to the same extent as they do in Spain.
Oh, really?
No way. Okay. I mean, there are pubs and people go to pubs and people have been going to pubs and bars, but not like in Spain.
Oh, okay. Sad. Okay.
So in the UK, the government's coming under lots of criticism for everything, as usual, and justifiably, I think. But the actual numbers in the UK are sort of in line with the rest of the European Union and a lot better than here. So I think Spain needs to tread very carefully.
Okay.
Japan seems to be doing well.
Yeah, not bad. Even though the rules are not as strict as here. Yeah.
Yeah, why is that? I mean, why is Japan doing so well?
I think,
Personal hygiene?
and also social distance, and yeah, I think people are more behaved. Don't you think? No partying, you know. I don't know. I haven't been in Japan for a long time.
No,
but
but
people are really careful.
Yeah, I think that's probably a big difference. You know, the culture of wearing masks has always been there in Japan. In Spain, it's a new
and
thing.
social discipline.
I mean, in Japan, do you ever see somebody wearing a mask around their chin like that?
No.
I mean, you do hear sometimes, and I think it's stupid. But
Well, a lot of comments suggest that you know, we don't wear a mask properly. You know, Leah's putting mask down, and you know, that's not good. And people suggest you shouldn't touch face after you take off mask. You know, people are really disciplined.
I think in Japan, you know, that type of discipline is second nature, and in Europe, it's not. So, what else?
I think it's enough, Daddy.
No, I'm just getting started. Come on.
Daddy, you said 5 minutes and you're speaking like 15 minutes already.
じゃあ、またね。気をつけてください。
はい。